Hannah, Florida. Go ahead, Tex.
Hi, Andrew. How you doing?
Fine, how are you?
First, let me compliment you on one thing, and then I want to talk about two issues quickly.
All right.
Number one, I like listening to you because generally your conversations are based on constitutional arguments that you can make solid issues for, that have factual data that we can look at. So I like that about you. I like the way that you logically go about that, even though I disagree with you many times, but you at least try to show a basis for what you're saying. Now you get into saying things like Obama's White House pays women 18% less than the men do. Number one, or like Romney said, 92% of the women that lost their jobs during this time are women.
All right, well, hold on. Headline, Washington Free Beacon, hostile workplace. Obama White House pays women less than men, record show. Female employees of the Obama White House make considerably less than their male colleagues. According to a 2011 annual report on the White House staff, female employees earned a median salary of $60,000, which was 18% less than the median for male employees, $71,000.
I understand. Okay, but what I'm saying to you, Andrew, is anybody can put up any figures they want. They're quoting according to what source?
The White House annual report of salaries for staff.
Okay, and that doesn't take into account that men's positions may be of higher level. In other words, a cabinet or whatever versus, say, clerical or whatever it may be. You're just making a general trend. You're not comparing job to job being equal pay.
Well, calculating the median salary for each gender required some assumptions to be made based on employees' names. When unclear, every effort was taken to determine the appropriate gender. Okay. So they some of the names might have been androgynous, so they might have scratched them from the study. Now,
go ahead.
So you can't possibly believe. Now, I thought, how could there be all male and men in senior positions in such a progressive Democrat, fair, Lilly Ledbetter-led White House?
Well, there probably is more men than women.
But this is the median. I mean, Valerie Jarrett is one of the president's closest advisors.
I agree.
So there are clearly women who have positions in the White House, the majority of which, when you factor the median income, is 18% lower than that of the men. How am I making stuff up? This is the president's own figures.
I'm not saying you're making stuff up, Andrew. You're reporting what you're reading and so on that basis and assuming it's a fact. But
wait a second. If I get my numbers from the Bureau of Land Management, who reports those numbers is irrelevant unless they're not factually accurate. If the reporting is accurate by the Washington Free Beacon, if this is in fact public information based on a Freedom of Information request, then whether it's the New York Times or ABC, it's irrelevant. Okay? If somebody else wants to step out and do another report or clarify these inconsistencies between male and female pay, fine. But right now, I'm going on this report.
Okay. Now, second point. Well, this is real quick. You know what aggravates me about conservatives is like you're talking about somebody saying something about Ann Romney, which I agree with you on. I think that was out of line. But now, yesterday, have you seen the film clip of what Alan West said down near me in Jensen Beach, Florida? Did you see
that?
Yes,
that there are 80 members of the House of Representatives who are members of the Communist Party.
Correct. Now,
okay.
You don't criticize that?
What do you want me to say? That's his opinion.
Stand up and say that that's inappropriate because that's simply not true, and you know it. There's no way there's 80 members in the Communist Party. And he said, by the way...
Well, how do you know? I mean, okay, so Alan West didn't say... I think you're making something out of nothing here. Okay? I think you're making something out of nothing. When you look at the people he's talking about, the fact is we have people who might not be declared communists. They might not be declared communists, but they certainly act like them.
The communists killed tens of millions of people. You're comparing the progressive caucus to communists?
Well, when they want a state control of the economy, when they want a state control of the healthcare system, when they want a state control of manufacturing, a state control of education, when they want to redistribute wealth, when they want single avenues for certain things like the payment of health care services, that's what communism is. If you read the Communist Manifesto,
is state-owned private enterprise.
No, it's not. I have the Communist Manifesto right here. Would you like me to read the 10 Pillars of Communism to you?
Sure, of course. I want you to, because what Alan West said was way out of line. And then he said...
Number one, abolition of property and land and application of all rents of land to public purposes. In other words,
Correct.
the taking of private property. Number two, a heavy progressive or graduated income tax. You only find that in the Communist Manifesto, not the Constitution, sir. Number three, abolition of rights of inheritance. Number four, confiscation of the property of immigrants and rebels. Number five, centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a national bank with state capital and an exclusive monopoly. What has the president been doing to the credit card industries, the banks, and the student loan industry? He's been nationalizing them. Don't tell me he hasn't. Centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. Why do you think the government is obsessed with building all these new supposed roads and high-speed rails? Because they want to control it. Tell me I'm wrong. Extension of factories and instruments of production owned by the state. By the time you're done regulating these companies and taxing them to death, making them beg for their own money back for research and development, I'm sorry, sir, they're controlled by the state. Thank you very much for the call. I don't have time to go through the whole 10 pillars of communism. We have other callers calling in.